Hi and welcome to Investing and Book Reviews. In today's video we're going to be going over an article off a website called Bankrate, and it's 10 savings and investing tips for all ages, and I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions. This is a short little article. This is a 4-minute read, so it's not going to be a long video, but I'm going to share my views on it. So it says here, there are essentially two strategies for boosting savings and investments: increase your income and cut your spending, or both. So you can increase your income and cut spending. I would rather do both, but if you're going to do one or the other, it'd be best to increase your income as well as decrease your spending, which should be ideal. So whether you're an adult ready to start saving for retirement, a 50-year tank ready to pay off your mortgage, or a senior citizen living on a fixed income, these tips can help you build savings, reduce debt, boost income, and invest wisely. Number 1. Pay yourself first. Save part of your monthly income as soon as you get it, rather than setting aside whatever's left over. That is what I do. I make sure I have enough to cover all my bills, and I have an emergency fund. And I normally pay myself first, and it's like a day after I've been paid for my job, it goes into my investment portfolio. And after what's all left over at the end of the month, anything's left, part of it goes into emergency fund, and the rest goes over into an investments. So now, on the way to do that, this is to set up an automated transfer from your bank account to a savings account or investment account. I'm not advising, I'm not a licensed professional, so I cannot give financial advice, so this is not investment advice. Please do your own research, please. Interest rates are very, very low, and inflation is, I think, nearly 1%, and inflation's 0.9% when I looked at the Bank of England last, and interest rates are 0.1, so you're losing 0.08% if you don't invest it. But please do your own research first before making any investments. Take a percentage of your paycheck or a random number and have it done automatically. Don't think about it, don't go back to it, just have it done. That is good, but I normally do a percentage. At the moment I can't do the percentage I want to do because I've got a few expenses coming up that are going to be quite hefty. But afterwards I will be able to, but I think I'm at the moment able to do just above 10%. I do want to get that percentage higher. And I also want to increase my income as well, and then keep the percentage high, or even higher, even more if I earn substantially more money in the future. Save for emergencies. This is going to help you sleep a lot better at night. Let's just say something happens to your boiler, or you need a new roof, and you have a spare $5,000 to $10,000 in your bank account. You sleep a lot better. An emergency savings account is the foundation of sound financial plan. But what exactly is an emergency? A true emergency is something you can no control over, a little choice about, such as a major illness or a job loss. Very true. But an illness, if you don't have medical health insurance, that can be very expensive if you don't have a national health service like we do in the UK, if everything is private. An infrequent expense you can anticipate, such as a car repair or travelling to visit family, isn't an emergency, but rather a separate category of expense that also could be saved for. A general rule of thumb is to save for cover for 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. People in the fire community would probably do 6 to 12 months, but 3 to 6 months is going to help you sleep a lot better, even if you do that. If you have a habit of dipping into your savings when you shouldn't, move those funds to a separate savings account so the funds won't be able to be depleted when you need them. Spend less, save more. Totally agree. This is the reason why I've got one of the ETFs I'm investing in. This is not financial advice, and I'm not saying to buy this one, but for me this is one reason why I buy it. It's roughly around £5, and it yields about a penny at the moment every month. And obviously when everything goes back to normal, I think it goes back to around 3p for every £5 that I put in. And obviously you got appreciation in price as well. And the reason why this is, say if I wanted to buy some piece of junk or something that's roughly £5, I think I can either buy that or I can buy myself more income and have delayed gratification. So that is a good mindset to have, but you also do have to enjoy life as well, because you never know what's around the corner. But it's about a balance, and everyone's balance is different for their situation. Saving often starts with spending less, whether it's a pricey hair salon, sorry. Daily premium coffee. I would not go for premium coffee. I've got my sister and fiance got me a coffee espresso machine maker from that, and then I've got the coffee pods off of Amazon that are compatible. I think they're roughly about 10p each. So 10p coffee versus what, a £3 coffee from Starbucks. That's a big saving right there. When you can cut back on spending, don't leave the savings in your pocket, wallet or checking account. When you just spend the money on something else instead, make a payment to that on the debt. Oh, that's a very good idea, to pay off debt, especially on debt. Or transfer the money to a savings account where it will be out of reach. Lose a habit, gain some savings. This is very good advice if you have habits, that especially if habits are expensive or if they're detrimental to your health. That is very good to cut them out. If you do drink a lot of alcohol, if you smoke, that would be very good to stop smoking or drink a lot less, or just for social occasions would be very ideal, because it can add up. Because I think the average a cheap bottle of wine is £5, let's say, and say if you have 3 of them a week, £15 a week times by 52, that's £780 a year. That could be put to something else. Or if you invest that £780, instead of having the alcohol at 4%, you can get an additional £31 a year, which is your retirement. So especially when you're no longer working, you'll have more of an income coming in. So if you buy a Danish every morning on your way to work, I wouldn't agree. I know Danish, a nice loaf of bread. If you really enjoy bread and it's something big meaning to you, a nice loaf of bread, I wouldn't agree. Maybe dining out 5 nights a week, I would personally, that's not for me, because when I want to go dine out, I want to make it something really special. So I wouldn't want to be doing something very, very often. It loses its specialness. It becomes like a routine, and it's laziness. I prefer to rather cook fresh and start from fresh and cook fresh ingredients, and I'll be able to save money. And if I was going to be able to do that, dining out 5 nights a week, I would need to figure out how much I need invested. I would have to invest to pay for that from the dividends. Resolve to substitute a staying at home and save a bit for 1 or 2 of these days. Yep. Try to reduce one's spending habit. That is discretionary. Totally agree with that. And bank for savings or put it towards paying down a debt. Totally agree with that. Paying off debt can be a great way to free up money that can redirect your savings to invest. Yes, agree. Make a list of your debts. Very good idea. Pay off those. Very good. The highest interest to the smallest balances first. Yes. Get creative in making more money. There are 2 ways to earn more money: getting a part-time job and selling things that you no longer need. There's also you can make YouTube videos, so you make it once and then it used to be viewed multiple times, and you can make money that way. Or you can make an audio book and then you can do that thing, or you can create something on Etsy or make a product and you can sell a product multiple times. So there's multiple ways to make passive side incomes at the moment, or in general anyway. But that's very important, because planning for retirement is very, very important, because one day you're not going to be able to work, you're not going to be physically, and if you want to enjoy your life and you don't want to have to live a frugal life and you want to enjoy your later years, it's best to delay the gratification now and then enjoy later life. But yes, you also have to enjoy the moment as well. It doesn't mean cut right back to like bare bones, like literally nothing. You also have to enjoy life as well. It's about a balance, but also not going crazy. Working longer hours might be seen burdensome. I agree working longer hours, but an extra job with a deadline and specific short-term savings goals can be a smart strategy. In fact, a recent banknote survey found that the average side hustle earns more than $8,000 a year. Nice. Look as it has. I'm going to work part-time until I save enough money to buy a new car in 2 years. I wouldn't buy a brand new car. I would buy like a second-hand car personally, but I may disagree a bit there. I'd get a reliable second-hand car, or invest in the difference, or put it to more of an emergency fund. Then it doesn't become an onerous as it would be if you were thinking I have to work 2 jobs for the rest of my life. This is why I would never buy brand new cars unless I have a lot invested to pay for that brand new car. Selling something you don't need, like an extra car, used design clothes, collectibles, musical instruments, or jewelry, can also generate cash for savings, but that's not sustainable. You're depleting your items that you have, and especially if they have sentimental meaning to you, I would advise keeping on to them if they have a lot of sentimental meaning. Baby step number 6. Number 6. Thinking of Dave Ramsey there. 6. Baby step your way to saving. If you find saving to be a challenge, start by trying to save just $100 or $500 for a specific purchase or expense. When you've saved and spent that sum, continue to save that amount or more so you can pay for what you need with the cash instead of the credit. If you're unable to save the money for major purchases and long-term investments, you're living above your means. Very good. That calls for a major adjustment like trading in a new car for basic reliable transportation or moving into a more affordable housing. Allocate your assets. Some investments are relatively tame on the risk-reward scale, while others are more volatile. This is down to you if your tolerance to risk, and obviously also if you can afford to lose the money. The more risk, the greater the reward, but the greater risk of loss. And the vice versa is true the other way, but not totally risk-free, so just bear that in mind. Generally speaking, younger people should invest more aggressively, while older people should be more conservative. If you're a novice investor, start with a basket of investments, perhaps a mutual fund. I'm not a person, personally I'm not a fan of mutual funds. I'm more of a fan of indexes or ETFs. It's very hard for people to beat the market. I'm just happy with the market averagely returns of 8%. Take off inflation, let's say 2, so you get a return of 6%. I'm happy with 6%. And then you can reinvest the dividends, and then you can snowball and compound interest. This is one thing, if I could do things, I would have started a lot younger in investing, but when I would have invested, they didn't have the tools to invest like I did then. Like one of the banks I'm with, a while back, I can't remember what it was like £5 to buy a trade, £5 to sell a trade, I think, and £5 a month to hold your positions. So quite expensive if you're not investing large sums of money. The goal should be to diversify without making your portfolio too complicated or too narrow. Whether you're a novice or experienced investor, be cautious about investments with high-flying risk-reward. Good. There's a direct relation between return and risk. If you're being promised pie in the sky, you can be sure there's a lot of risk. Yep, that's true. Understand investment costs. So this is mainly from an American one because it's a 401k. I'm from the UK, so we have something called an ISA, where I have a stocks and shares ISA where I can put up to in one tax year of £20,000. Physically putting the £20,000 in the dividends. If I reinvest dividends, it doesn't count to the amounts, and that's the form of like a 401k, I think. Whether you're talking about stocks and bonds, mutual funds, brokers, commissions, or 401ks, retirement plan management fees, virtually all investments involve costs that investors should understand. They do. Sometimes the employer will be subsidised some of the cost of the 401k, sometimes it will pass it all on to the employees. Okay. If your employer-based retirement plan is exceptionally high cost, you might want to invest just enough to capture your employer's match and make additional investments out of that plan. Get a plan. Stick to an investment plan. Very good. But be willing to adjust as well. A stock market dip can be a good buying opportunity for steady investors who want to add to their portfolio. That's very true. It's very tragic if people have lost their jobs or sadly lost their lives, but it's a very good opportunity now to buy some stocks or bonds or ETFs if you want to, because of the market's gone down quite a bit. Eventually, hopefully, it will return back to normal levels and then rise again. Intuitively, if you want to run away, but you should be doing is continuing your strategy of buying a mix of stocks and bonds. Yes, I'm now getting a bit more into bonds. Primarily, I was totally into equities and ETFs and indexes. I hadn't had many bonds, but now I've created a pie where I have a diversified, quite a well diversified bond portfolio, where I'm putting a small amount into each month, but I will want to increase that position each month as well. So review your investment strategy once or twice a year, and don't let headlines throw you off track as you allocate your funds. The goal should be for an ongoing process, not to be stopped or restarted because of news of the day. Very good. Number 10. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Very good. But be careful what advice you listen to and who's telling you what's helpful or not. Make sure they know what they're talking about, and let's not pie in the sky or waffle talk. When it comes to investing, some might not be sure where to start. That can be very daunting, actually, investing, as it's so complicated. All the numbers, the terminology, risk, fear, psychology as well. So it's quite hard to take that initial leap. How should you know what stocks to pick? How do you know if your portfolio is balanced? Don't be afraid to seek guidance from a licensed professional. Advisory services aren't only for the wealthy. Do your research, that's very good, and find low fee services that will help you gain confidence in the market. So yes, overall, I rate that a very good article from Marcy Geffner. Definitely good advice there. I would highly recommend that. So if you like this little video, I hope you liked it. Smash that like button. As I said, this is not financial advice. This is just a documentation of my journey. I'll try and link the article in the description box below. Thank you for watching. Take care, and I'll see you all soon.